Welcome to The Bottom Line, where we unpack the main business and economic stories of the day. I'm your host, Aleksandra Marchewicz. Now, Poland's growth forecast for 2025 range from 3.5% to 3.9% or even more, while the region is facing shifting headwinds if the new US tariffs come into play. But meanwhile, divergent monetary policies across Central Europe and fresh inflation worries in the eurozone add extra layers to uncertainty. And here to guide us through these challenges and potential opportunities is Piotr Arak, Chief Economist from VeloBank. Hello, sir, and welcome to CVP World.
Hi, pleasure to be here.
So perhaps let's start with monetary policy, because I'm really curious about this. As we heard earlier, now Polish Monetary Policy Council has yet again decided to hold rates steady. I mean, they are too. So the International Monetary Fund called the MPC's hawkish stance appropriate. But why Poland is battling inflation, and where to your mind we are expecting the first cuts?
Oh, okay. So there's a lot to unpack here. So first off, the inflation is caused by the energy crisis that we saw in 2021. Then the war with Ukraine. Before that, even the pandemic, and the effects are still somewhere visible in the Polish economy. And the inflation crisis is not going to end just like that. So. This means that in 2025, we might get somewhere in the range on the upper range of the inflation target of our central bank. But as the projections from the central bank, Polish central bank, projections by the IMF, OECD, this basically showcases that the inflation is not still going away. We have the energy prices, which cause that. We have the food prices, still increase prices of services. And this is another layer which causes the inflation circle around on the market. And still wages growing by about 10% with the December numbers. So that was 9.8% increase in year-on-year of wages, which means that still, this is a very important element increasing the costs of production of various goods, not taking into account any debates on trade wars and tariffs on the Polish produce.
And speaking of Poland, I would love to put us perhaps more into perspective. And for that, I believe that I need visuals. So perhaps let's now put on the screen some graphics that we have prepared. So as we can see on the screen right here, Hungary and the Czech Republic have embarked on easing their monetary policy, while Poland held its rates steady. So, but now the rate-setting bodies in both countries became more cautious. So why is inflation so sticky?
One of the reasons is the administrative decisions. So Czech Republic and Romania decided on increasing interest rates a lot earlier than Poland did. So it was more about a half a year early on and impacting the inflation earlier. So it's not the direct effect. We have to wait about 12 months to see the effects of increasing interest rates on the decreases in interest rates, decreases on the inflation rate. So this is the first thing. Second one is so the impact of fiscal policy, decreasing of indirect taxation as VAT or the freezing of energy prices was not as prominent in those two economies as it was in Poland. So this administrative decisions that have been made by the government increased the length and also the height of the inflation. We're having this crisis longer than those countries. And also what you could saw on the graph is that we didn't increase the interest rates as much as Romania or Czech Republic. We have a more stable economy. Also, we were more cautious on the development of the economy. So we still been in positive numbers, although 2023 was a bad year. We had almost negative growth or almost a recession, but still we managed to perform quite well. So with a 0.1% growth rate, but this, like last year, 2.9, better than everybody expected. This year, maybe 3.5, maybe 3.6, or even more, as some project. This means that the economy is performing better. Romania and Czech Republic are not on the in real terms growth rate levels on the podium as Poland is in terms of 2025 projections or the outcomes for 2024.
Right, so now turning to international trade, renewed US tariffs, especially under now another Trump administration, could slice up to half a percentage point of growth, according to some analysts. So how vulnerable is Poland to these headwinds? And do we see a similar threat for other Central and Eastern European economies? What do you think?
First off, Poland has the most diverse export structure in the world. So this is the data coming from United Nations. We export almost everything, from services, IT, shared services, to, I would say, furniture, paper, and food products, tobacco, and car parts. And this means that there is no dominant element to the Polish exports. 80% of our trade is conducted within the European Union. It's just 20% where you're going to find other countries, and it's not the United States. United States is not the most important trade partner of Poland, and we even have a negative trade balance with the United States because we import gas from the United States. Basically, whatever the United States is going to do in their trade policy, it's not going to directly affect Poland. Indirectly, of course, it's going to matter because of the trade balance that we have with Germany. 1/4 of our exports going to Germany, our value added being then re-exported by the German car manufacturers or machinery producers, which do trade a lot with the United States. That being said, do remember that Germany in the last 2 years was in recession. And the effect of that was that the growth pace of our country was lower. So they took about 1 percentage point of the growth pace that Poland had because of the negative effects of German trade, German industrial production, which is on levels on almost the same levels as in 2015. Decreasing the industrial capacity of Germany is, of course, very bad for our country, but we're not as much dependent on that as we used to be. And Czech Republic, Romania, Hungary, those countries which do suffer more currently in this situation are going to be suffering a bit more when the U.S. could implement tariffs on the car manufacturing, because this is the exports that we do have to the United States from the European Union. This is more or less the speciality of Germany. So cars and machinery. And that is going to be an issue, but not directly influencing Poland. So I wouldn't be as pessimistic on the influence of that on the Polish economy. So of course the basic opportunity of growth could be lower, could be not 3% in the next years, but still we're going to manage quite well with the domestic market and the other European markets.
So now finally, in the light of these risks, now mentioning of course like both from tariffs to inflation, how do you think should Poland balance now growth rates with the need to maintain fiscal discipline, if I may say so, and enable stability heading into 2025? What is your take?
I'm not a big fan of being very strict on fiscal policy. It's just a number, 3.5 or whatever. What is important is where are we heading? So what's the direction that the government is implementing? So, of course, we saw the plan presented by the Polish Ministry of Finance to the European Commission on decreasing the deficit. But I would stick to the plan. So we need to decrease the deficit to be below 60% in debt in the years to come. And I would like to see policies that are going to have some fiscal consolidation in the years to come, because what we saw in, the recent OECD paper or any others is that the fiscal needs in the years to come after 2030, because of the aging society, needs of healthcare services, this is going to be a tremendous strain on the fiscal side of the Polish economy. So we need to somehow anticipate. That's what's going to be in the near future, because 2030, that's in 5 years. Maybe it's not the political calendar, but it's still quite soon. So that's why I would like the government to stick on decreasing deficit and decreasing debt within a time frame.
Right, so sticking to the plan. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us, and thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you very much.
And we were joined by Piotr Arak, chief economist from VeloBank, and that was his bottom line for today. And remember that in the world of business, the bottom line is the only line that counts. Alexandra Marhevich signing off. Goodbye.